I'll record. All right. Perfect.
Okay, can you guys see it?
I can see it.
Cool. I don't know how to make it like full screen though. Maybe if I download, I don't know what I'm doing.
Actually, like make this box bigger. I mean, I wonder if I can try it.
Well, let me try this one. Well, it might be as good as it's gonna get.
That's okay. Is everyone good with that? Because I can see it.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so I'll kind of just let you roll. I'll let you kind of kick it off first, girlfriend, because.
Okay, awesome. So this call is basically like, what are you willing to do differently in your business to really thrive? Okay, so we're going to get into the 3 different reasons why people never get, hold on, my little pop-up's in the way, get to where they want to be. I'm going to go over kind of like your willingness. So you have to be willing to really not just do the work, but do the work when you don't want to do the work. And I actually kind of just went over this on my stories a little bit this morning, is that like not every day you're going to feel motivated to do the work. You're not going to be willing to do the hard things that you need to do in order to see success in your business. So you might want to run a successful business and you might, want to become diamond or 2-star or 5-star or elite coach. But what are you really willing to do in order to get there? And I think that's a big question that you have to ask yourself. Like, are you willing to sacrifice certain things? Are you willing to sacrifice watching The Bachelor on Monday nights? Are you willing to sacrifice sleep and willing to sacrifice whatever it is that could be holding you back? For me, like a lot of it, like in the mornings, I still get up usually around like 6:30 every day. Like I work full time from home. People would probably think, oh, you can just sleep in, but I'm willing to sacrifice to advance my business further. You have to make sure to mute yourselves.
And then Katie, I'm just gonna unmute you. Hold on 1 second. And then I'm going to unmute you. Okay, you should be good, Katie.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of read right now from like the screen. But what are you willing to do? What you thought it takes is completely different than what it actually takes, which is so true. Like how many of you have, you signed up as a coach and you think because like you're a coach now, like people might all of a sudden like flock to you and they're like, oh my gosh, you're a coach, like sign me up. I want to do this with you. I'm so ready. But you might not have realized that it's going to take, losing some sleep over. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take grit and determination in doing things when you would rather be napping or watching Netflix. So like how many of you have ever thought like, okay, this is way harder than I thought it was going to be? Because I definitely have been there before. And our life is not a hypothetical future, and balance is what we do, not what we achieve. And I thought it was so cool in his presentation. He talked about balance and how really there's no such thing as balance. Sometimes your life is just going to be unbalanced. So especially, as a coach, you might find some unbalance. And so we always hear this thing like, oh, I'm living a balanced lifestyle. I need a balance like coaching and family and friends and this and that. But with coaching, sometimes your life is just going to be unbalanced, and that's okay. And that's just how honestly it has to be. Like you might lose a little sleep. You might lose a little, whatever it may be, but that's a good thing when you are trying to build a business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of that. I think so often, like we think, and we put it in the presentation, like, your future is not, we don't live in a hypothetical existence. Like we aren't striving for a hypothetical future. So when we talk about like 50, like people think that like there should be like this 50-50 work-life split. And truthfully, balance has nothing to do with time. Balance has everything to do with a state of being. We will never be in a 50-50 split of work and life ever. There are people that work 80 hours a week doing something they love and then are able to live a fully fulfilled life with their family, being 100% present because they're doing something they love. It fills them up. They're earning an income that allows them to have so much freedom, and then it allows them to be more present with their loved ones. And then there's people that are working 40 hours a week doing things that don't fill them up, doing things that are forcing them to live paycheck to paycheck or below paycheck to paycheck. Then even on the weekends, their mind is so worried about how they're going to pay their bills, how, the massive to-do list that they have to go back to work on, or, what their boss is going to say, or having to deal with that rush hour traffic, that they really can never truly be present with what they love. And a huge thing that I told myself when I was going into this business is that I was willing to put in the work and sacrifice a ton, like, my mom's Wi-Fi is like not the greatest.
Okay, we can hear you now.
But I mean, like, you guys know, like, life freaking happens and it's never going to be perfect. We can't plan our day expecting to, like, for everything to go perfect. So it's like when we plan our schedule of, how are we going to fit in our coaching business with our full-time job, for those of you that are just starting out, or for those of you that, maybe have been doing this for a little while and are pushing to be full-time, when you make that schedule, don't, plan the things in that you need to plan, do the work, but understand that, like, there's never going to be this perfect 50-50 split. So we're never going to be like living this hypothetical life of, when this, then. Everything starts with doing the actions now, and to create the life that you want in the future, you have to start bringing in those actions today. So, establishing balance isn't always going to be, it's not always going to happen. And you just have to trust the fact that, like, sometimes you're going to have to work 80 hours a week so that you can freaking pay off all that debt and have, like, a clear mind. Or some days you're going to have to freaking do the shit that you don't want to do so that you can show up for the loved ones that deserve the best for you later on in years down the road to come. Right?
Yeah. I think about back to, like, when I was working at the dental office full time, I had, like, literally zero balance. I would wake up super early. I was waking up between 4 and 4:30 in the morning to get my workout in and work. I would go to work. I would go to my car on my lunch break to work coaching. And then when I got home from work, I would literally work coaching until I went to bed, because what else was I going to do? Like, watch Netflix, like, hang out, like, whatever. Like, I had these dreams and I knew, like, okay, I'm working a ton now, but it's because this is going to help me in my future. I was doing that for my future family, to be able to stay at home with my future kids. And so balance just went out the window, because this was the goal that I wanted so much. I didn't care about, spending time with some people after work. Like, that just went out the window because this was more important. And I knew in the long run, it would be way better for my family.
Absolutely. And guys, like, with that too, taking massive action, I'm all about, like, the law of attraction. Katie and I, like, we get to do the things that we love now, and we get to have more balance in our life now because we chose to take massive action early on. I'm a huge person on taking messy action. Like, I'm someone where, like, none of the shit that I post is perfect, but if I hear something and I know that it works, I'm willing to try it, and I'm willing to try it without having a freaking game plan. And you know what? Sometimes it works, and that's amazing, and it creates massive momentum for me, and sometimes it doesn't. So what you put out is what you get back, and you're not going to get anything back if you don't put anything out. Right? So your second best work that the world sees is always better than your perfect work or your first best work that the world never will see. Right? So
sometimes we overthink things, like, so much, and we plan things out and it has to be perfect. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times where I've asked coaches, like, when are you going to do your first coach preview? Are you working on it? Blah, blah, blah. And they're just planning and planning, but they're in planning mode for, like, months. And I'm like, it's never going to happen. You just have to, like, take an idea and run with it and do the things, even if it's so poorly put together. You guys, like, I'm very disorganized in a lot of ways that I run my business, but, like, for me, it seems like organization, because that's just kind of who I am and it works for me. But just like Jess, like, if I have an idea, I'm going to do it right here, right now, because if I don't, then it's never going to happen.
Absolutely. Amen.
Yes. So let's kind of go over, like, these 4 different categories. So the first one is the do-nothingers. And I kind of want you guys to, like, figure out which one you guys relate to the most and which one you want to be. So the do-nothingers: boredom, lethargy, complacency, lack of purpose. The retreaters: fears of success or rejection, maybe past experiences alter the future and what you think that you can have for yourself, playing the blame game and always justifying why, like why you can't do something, why you're not good enough, why it won't work for you, why you don't believe in yourself. And then there's the averagers, which acceptable as long as it works, they're fine with it. People who act when threatened by a risk, not fully using energy. And then there's the 10Xers, aren't worried about the hours, treat it like a duty. I have to make it work beyond social norm. So in the comments, I just kind of want to get a idea of where you guys feel like you are and then where you want to be.
Yeah. And so guys, while you guys are putting who you think you are in the comments, I wanted to elaborate a little bit on this. So you are going to, in this business, get a ton of the do-nothingers and the retreaters. And some of you might even be on this call right now, and you might say, holy shit, I'm a do-nothinger, or holy crap, I'm one of the retreaters. And if you are, that's okay. Don't have any sort of guilt or expectation about yourself around that. Now that you've acknowledged it, you have the power to change it. All of that power is within you, so don't feel any shame if you are one of those first two and you put that in the comments. Like, that takes a lot of freaking, it's so powerful to acknowledge where you are, especially if it's not where you want to be, and we've all been there. So the do-nothingers and the retreat. Elite coach on my team, and guess what? They came into this business and they expected it to be easy, or they didn't have the willingness or the drive. And we live in a society, guys, now where we want, like, our society, they want to make millions, but they want to do it in a microwave oven, guys. And that's just not possible. Like, you cannot expect to build a $1 million, multi-million-dollar business with the work ethic of a $25,000 a year income. And I'm not putting down that income. I'm just saying that, like, we all know that is not an income that is going to allow you to live your best life. So you're going to see a ton of these people. It is going to break your heart, but do not let it break you, and do not let it break your vision. The do-nothingers are simply just people that lack the belief. And if you have people like this on your team, don't discount them at all. Like, there are people that I've had on my team for 2-3 years that are just now coming out of the woodwork, who have been, watching from the background, and they're like, I just never thought that I could. Right? And so those are the people that you really need to build up and establish a belief system with them, and let them know, like, they are worthy of anything that they want in their life. They just have to be able to take the action to do it. And the retreaters, guys, this is where a ton of those coaches that maybe you have on your team that have been around for a while, and they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, like, maybe they were a success starter, and then after, they got their summit ticket, then all of a sudden they didn't have anything to push for, and then they retreated a little bit, or they pulled back. And here's where, when we talk about taking massive, messy action, things get a little bit, muddy or tricky for some people, because, I preach with what I do, taking aligned action. And so much of the issue with what we do as entrepreneurs is there are things that we have to do to build a business. And a lot of the reason why it feels like work or hustle to people is because of their fear of rejection or past experiences. So past experiences of coaches where they said, I've done the 50 invites a day, and the 50 invites a day still had me at Success Club 0 every single month. Or I've done, the 50 new connects every single day, and I'm still at SC 0 every single month. And that is, it's the resistance that they're attaching to the action. It's not the actual action that doesn't bring them joy. It's the resistance that they've created with the action because of their past experiences. I did this expecting this, and this is what it really got me, right? So those type of coaches, you just have to say, you know what you were doing to achieve that clearly wasn't working. How can we make it different? How can we make it more fun? How can we make this more exciting for you so you can still do the things and build the business and not.
Oh, I don't think we can hear you. Oh, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
But I had something to add on to that. So when you said, because of past experiences, like the people, like if you've done 50 invites per day and you are still not seeing success from it, the thing that I also feel like happens here is that you may do like 50 invites a day for a couple weeks, and then you feel like you aren't seeing that success, and so then you stop. But then maybe a month later you start again, and then you stop, and then you start, and that's kind of also where you can really kind of get burnt out and defeated and start feeling like it's not working. But that's where also like consistency comes into play big time with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. The actions that we're doing right now are setting you up for success 6 months from now. So like, I didn't build a business overnight, and guys, like we still show the fuck up. I'm sorry I cuss, so if you have kids, I'm really sorry, but it just comes out when I'm passionate. It's just because we show up. Whether what we do works for us or it doesn't, we just figure it out and we say, okay, I did this, it didn't work. It doesn't mean that we stop being Is my service janky again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to let you take it away with the averagers and the 10Xers.
Okay. All right. So the averagers, as long as in my mind, this is kind of how I view it. So as long as it works, they are fine with it. So like it's working and they act on things. They're doing the daily activities, but if there's any risk involved, they kind of like shrink back and they're not into it. So they're coaching, they're doing the things, but they're not taking huge action to do the things that they're going to see major success with. So these are the people maybe who are hitting like Success Club 5 each and every single month, maybe even SE4, not to 5 yet. And they're just kind of cruising along. They're just kind of like doing what needs to be done in order to, make a stable income, maybe make, a couple $100s a week or something like that. But they're not going to, overextend their energy. They're not going to, lose sleep, or they're not going to wake up early or go to bed late, or, miss family time for team calls. They're going to kind of do it more when it's convenient for them. But they're totally fine with it because they had the community. They had that, that little bit of income that's coming in. So I think that's, they're average in the business. They're happy with it and they're perfectly comfortable being where they are. But again, they're not taking massive action. And if you're here, obviously totally fine. This is a great place to be if you just want average, but if you want a 10X, you just have to, use more energy. Think about the things maybe that you could sacrifice a little bit more, which brings us to the 10Xers. So the 10Xers, I don't know how many of you guys have read the 10X rule. This is where I learned all about 10Xing your business, and it literally changed the game for me. I was and am still completely obsessed because it made me realize how much I wasn't doing and how much work I wasn't doing. And I was like, oh, wow. Instead of like 5 invites per day, these people are literally doing 50. And that's when the game changed for me. Because like, if we're trying to build a massive business and we're trying to make an income and help all these people, like why not just 10X your efforts, like go big or go home, right? And so these people aren't worried about the hours. They aren't worried about, waking up early, getting on Miracle Morning at like 5 a.m., 4 a.m. before work. A lot of people will say, well, I work at 7, so I already have to be up at, 6:30. So I'm good with, working out or working before work. I'm like, what? Okay, well, then you're not going to get the payout from it. Like your actions have to match your goals. And so if you really want the reward to be a 10X reward, you have to 10X your actions. Get up at 3 in the morning to do your work if you need to get up at 3 in the morning. If that's the only time you can get your work in, do it. Work on your lunch break. Who cares about, talking to your friends in the lunchroom? I didn't care about that. I cared about getting my work done. So I went and I worked in my car every single day in my lunch break, even in the winter. I worked every single day after work. Sometimes, like I was fortunate. I lived at my parents' house, and I didn't have any other responsibilities. But even if I did, I would probably blow them off to work my business because I knew that is what I need to be doing. And even to this day, like I invite between 25 and 100 people per day because I'm not playing small. I have huge goals, and so I will make this work no matter what.
Girlfriend.
All right.
So this was kind of a really good slide, and I know we want to honor your time, and we have like a 7-minute video, so I'll just kind of go quickly on this one. So focus on passing the torch. I think that like what we tend to do is we get in defense mode when we start to build our business. Like, oh, I just, I don't want my coaches that I have to quit, or, I just hit diamond and I don't want to go backwards. Guys, like, we cannot build a successful business if we're always in defense mode. So I want you guys to paint the vision, the big vision, and I want you to focus on passing the torch. The do-nothingers and the retreaters and the averagers, they don't focus on passing the torch. The 10Xers, they focus on passing the torch because they want to create a team of leaders, right? So there's leaders of followers, and those are people that you can build to be great leaders, but they're always going to kind of follow the flock, right? So they're going to like wait for their leader to create some sort of like action or initiate something. What we want is to pass the torch to create leaders of leaders who do the shit on their own, and that's how you build a legacy. That is how you leave a lasting, massive impact on the world. So when you are building your business every single day, and this is something that I do before I even open my email box, before I even open my Instagram messages, every single day as I set my mindset and I cast the vision. I look at the vision board and I literally envision it. And then before I take the actions, I get excited. I have a dance party and I literally think about passing the torch to other women that are just like me. And I envision those girls that I want at leadership with me next year. And this is something, guys, that I didn't do last year. This is something that, this has been a massive year of personal growth for me. And it was literally the switch in the vision of passing the torch and envisioning myself in that picture. So don't build your business on defense, guys. Always build it on offense, because that's what the 10Xers do.
And I'm going to just add to that really quick. I just started doing like a whole morning routine. Literally when I started 6 weeks of the work, I didn't have a salad routine, but I bought a planner that has me writing down gratitude, 3 different things I'm grateful for, things I'm excited about, and affirmations. So I do it every single morning, and I can't even tell you how much more excited it's got me about working the business and just all the exciting things and what I'm grateful for and affirmations. So I tell myself, like, and I'm not talking like small affirmations. I'm talking like I write down, I'm the best at what I do. I'm a 15-star diamond. And every single day I envision that and I see that. And I don't look at it and say, yeah, right, it's never going to happen. I look at it and say, I can't wait till this happens. And I'm so excited to work on my goals. And so just doing that in the morning has been a game changer.
Yes, love that.
All right, you ready for the video?
So the video's next slide, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So this is kind of like basically the leading into the video is the second thing is your skills. So a lot of people, like, they want to come into a business, but they're not willing to learn. And guys, the best teachers are the best learners. The best leaders are the best students. So people will come into this business and they will ask you for the recipe of success. They will ask you how you've done what you've done, and then the butts start rolling in because they're not open to learning new things. So, this slide is basically like people could learn one skill. Oh, I froze again. I think, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
If you could learn one skill to help you grow in this business, what would it be? And you guys can drop that in the chat. And while you guys are dropping that in the chat, we watched and have the amazing opportunity to have Dan Thurman speak to us at Leadership. He's an author and a motivational speaker, and guys, like, it is out of this world. So for the next 7 minutes, I really want you guys to like take in everything that he's saying and think about how you can apply it to not just your business, but to your everyday life. Because what we do in our everyday life is how we can recreate the success and the joy in our business. That's how it trickles in.
And this video is amazing. So make sure you take notes too. Yeah. Some good nuggets. Okay.
First, become willing to transcend the pattern about you. because it may also be keeping you here. Most people don't want to do that. They want to stay in the success that they know and where they're comfortable. Like, here's the way I think about it. If you limit yourself to what's comfortable, you deny yourself what's possible. If you limit yourself to what's comfortable, you're denying you that which you truly want, which is congruent with your purpose. So I think we need to be aware of what resonates and yet scares us, so that we can lean in and go off balance on purpose. Here's what he showed me. He said the 3 balls cross your body to opposite hands. Odd numbers will cross. Even numbers, you hold it longer, it circles back to the same side. It actually looks like they're crossing a little bit, but they really don't. Especially unless you're doing variations or fancier tricks. But the basic patterns don't cross, they actually stay on the same side. And when he showed me that, just like you, I went, oh. Yeah, like that's good information, right? And there was this moment in time where I had no clue, and then suddenly I knew the answer. As if I'd been to the 4-ball breakout session. And then I went home and I tried it again, and this time it still didn't work. Because I hadn't what? I hadn't practiced enough, yes. The real key is I hadn't dropped enough. And I hadn't picked up the drops to confirm I was serious. And then continued to drop and pick up and drop and pick up, and then eventually get more specific about what I was trying to do. I've taught over the years thousands of people how to do this. And trust me, the only thing that separates those who can from those who can't is that those who can pick up more drops. Maybe dozens more, maybe just one, because you never know how close you are to that breakthrough moment. So it's about reframing that concept of failure or dropping or struggling, and understand that the struggling is not optional. Right? But you get to decide what you want to struggle to learn or become. You get to choose how you will engage with that struggle as a process of learning, clarifying, and stretching and growing. Right? And so as I continued to do that, as I stayed with the struggle, what I began to notice is that as I was working on 4, my 3-ball juggling was getting really, really good. Right? The truth is I never got the hang of 4 until I tried what?
5.
5. If you think what you're doing now is difficult, it's probably time to try something harder. And when you do this level, it's going to seem a lot easier. That's how we stretch. Right? You don't master one level completely and decide to move on. You stretch into the uncertainty, and then the uncertainty stretches you. So 5 balls goes back to a crossing pattern. And what we're doing at this moment is building this visual metaphor or performance, and then we're going to layer on some additional content in just a minute. 5 goes back to crossing, but there's 3 in the air at all times. It looks like this. But there are some principles and keys that will enable you to manage the complexity of 4 in your life with greater control. Would you like to know them? Okay, 2 things. The first is obvious but hard to do. The second one may surprise you. First, when you add more, you have to keep looking up. Keep looking up. And I know that sounds like so motivational. And I'm sorry. It's like, keep looking up, everybody. Like it's about attitude. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's about execution. Juggling is not about making great catches. It's about making perfect throws. Because if your throws are consistent and accurate, the catches just sort of happen, right? And the same is true when you're building your business or your legacy of life. It's, are you operating congruent to your values, toward your processes, toward your intentions and your goals, and are you executing up there, making adjustments as you go, focusing on execution. Let the results kind of take care of themselves. The moment I look down to confirm I'm making great catches, it's like, how are they coming in today? You can't see what's coming next, and you can't see the pattern. You can't understand the dynamics, the relationship between everything at work at once. Does that make sense? This also means when everyone around you is focusing on the drops or the challenges and saying, there's a problem, oh, there's another one, and that'll never work, that when you can change their perspective and say, I get that, I see why that's important, but remind me, what is it we're trying to accomplish? Why does it matter? And get reoriented to purpose. There's just going to be new answers that were not there before. That's what I mean when I say keep looking up. It's your leadership skill to redirect the focus in the midst of a challenge. Now, second thing I said might surprise you is when you add more to what you're doing, you have to slow down. Slow down. All right, and I know that's counterintuitive because life's moving so fast. What I'm saying is if that's your only move is to accelerate when life does, is to just speed up and race it. Life has no problem speeding up as well. You're going to lose that race. You're going to wear out and tired. The only way to find control and clarity about what's right in the midst of that accelerated pace is to understand you don't multitask. Don't. You perform what's called the quick switch, which is a term scientists coined to talk about how our brains engage multiple thoughts and challenges. One area of your mind will actually stimulate to process a thought or solve a problem. Something else catches your attention, and they've watched how the first area will turn off before the second one activates. You can't think two thoughts at once. You can learn something really well and run it as sort of an automatic program in the background. When it comes to your contributions, problem solving, listening, decision making, it's one thing at a time. So the question is, are you placing your focus where you want it to be, or are you allowing your focus to be pulled from you? So instead of having it all up in the air at once, I can actually slow it down one thing at a time. You can see it's not all that fast. You can probably also see the pattern. Do you see it? A few of you? Some of you? Anybody? Hold on, wait. I want to make sure all of you get this. So at this point, we're going to implement some technology and help make this idea more abundantly clear. I think we're almost ready. Lights, please. Oh, yeah. And you see the pattern. Some say it looks like the wings of a butterfly. I prefer to see an infinity sign. Watch one of the balls as it arcs back and forth, crossing through the middle, that infinite loop. You got it? Now, the creation of the pattern enables me to manage the complexity. Yeah, patterns will change throughout your life and your business. The key to remember is that it is all in your hands. Lights, please.
Okay. So many good little nuggets in there. One of my favorite ones that I had written down was the difference between those who can and those who can't. The ones who can have picked themselves back up. And how amazing is that? It's so true because in this business, we all have kind of a lot of the same struggles. Like a lot of no's, a lot of, fear of judgment, a lot of, coach cancellations and people going inactive. But every single coach in the network goes through those same struggles. The difference between the ones who can and the one who can't keep going, the ones who can, they pick themselves back up. It's the same kind of concept as, fall down 7 times, get back up 8. They just keep going no matter
4,
what.
3, 2.
Okay. But that was probably my favorite little nugget from the video.
Oh my God. And I wish that we could have recorded I'm pretty sure I did record the full 45 minutes of him doing that, but I'm I don't think I want to watch the whole 45 minutes, but it was phenomenal.
Yes. Oh, there we go. I don't know how to get back.
Oh, is your screen frozen?
No, I just don't know how to get back to the slideshow.
Oh, just close out of YouTube.
I'm really dumb when it comes to technology, you guys.
It's my struggle is always real with technology.
Okay, why is everything in the way? There we go. All right. Can you guys even see that, or is the chat in the way for you guys too?
Okay. And then I think that leaves us with capacity. Is your screen, there you go. Okay. So your capacity it's essentially how much are you guys willing to take on? So are you willing to, front load the hell out of your life right now for, you know, let's say like the next two, if we were to tell you for the next 2 years, you sacrifice all of your free time, and in 2 years, you can have a business that runs itself in terms of like you can travel and have an income that's amazing. Like, would that be something that you would have the capacity to do? And it's easy to say, guys, it's another thing to do. And it's literally just how much are you willing to take on? And you just have to understand that everything is temporary. It's not always going to be forever. Like, I still work my ass off every single day, but it does not feel nearly as hard as it used to the first 2-3 years that I was building my business. I still work my ass off. Now it just brings me a shit ton of joy because I'm like, I do this, I make a lot of money. I do this, I get to change a lot of people's lives. I do this, and I get to spend more time with my daughter, right? So what's your capacity? What is it that you are willing to take on?
And then I think it's also important to think about like, what are you not willing to give up? Because then you also have your list of, okay, I know I'm not willing to give this up. And if then you don't see the results that you want to in your business, maybe go back to that list and be like, you know, maybe it's because I'm not willing to give these certain things up. And maybe that's the thing that has been deterring me from growing my business. So I think it's sometimes great to even have a list of what am I not willing to give up. And what are you fighting for? The version of you that has those negative thoughts, will they be able to win a fight? Like, so you have to figure out what you're fighting for. Like, are you fighting to have a better life for your family? Are you fighting to, you know, we all know like whys and visions and things like that. So like, what is your fight, and why are you here as a coach? And are you willing to really pursue that with everything that you have? And so I want you to also think about like what needs to change in your life right now in order for your business to change, and write all those things down. So it could be something super simple like, I watch Instagram stories in the morning. Maybe you sit on Instagram stories in bed for like a half an hour when you could have already gotten your workout in, or you could have gotten a half an hour of invites done. So that's one small thing that would need to change. You know, think of every little small thing that you have in your life that you can change in order to kind of fit coaching in and make it more of, you know, more of what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. And then of course, believe. And I think that's the most important word on this slide is believe in yourself, that you are the most powerful person in every room. And that's why every single day in my affirmation, I have been writing down, I am the best at what I do, because I'm going to believe it, and I will believe it every single day. You know, even if people say you're not the best, Katie, I'm like, you know what? Well, I think I'm the best. And, you know I'm the best at everything that I do. And so you just have to tell yourself every single day that you are this, you're capable of hard things. And soon enough, you will honestly start to believe it yourself.
Yeah. And guys, like, real quick, real clear, like, if you are not your own biggest cheerleader, ain't nobody else about to be. Like, you, God, the universe, whoever it is that you look up to, that rampage about this, but when you truly believe that you are the best person in the room, that is the energy that you are going to attract, and the other people around you are going to start to notice it because they are picking up on your energy, and they are picking up on your belief, and they are starting to believe that you're the best person in the room too. So don't ever look at it as bragging. Don't ever look at it as I'm showboating. Don't ever look at it as I don't like to talk about myself. You are the best mother effing person for this job, and what we do changes lives. And it literally, I look back at the girl that I was 6 years ago, and guys, I don't even know if I would be alive if I continued to do what I was doing 6 years ago. So like, if my coach didn't brag about the shit that she did, I wouldn't be here today to brag about the stuff that I do. And I know there's girls on this call that wouldn't be able to brag about it either. Like, it is the best blessing ever, and start believing that you hold the key, because we do.
Mm-hmm. Amen. I don't think I can top that.
Oh my God. Well, I know, what is it, like 8:45? Oh, we did good on time.
On the dot.
Yay, perfect. Well, does anyone have any questions? Did you guys like want us to cover anything? Like, did anything pop up? You guys have questions or?
Oh, you guys absolutely love that call. We can also, if you had that full recording of the call, maybe we can give you guys the full recording too if you guys want to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. It says it's recording. I've never actually recorded a Zoom on my laptop. I always do it on my MacBook desktop. So I'll try to figure it out tomorrow and hopefully get that all squared away.
I totally meant like the Dan Thurman call, but this one too.
Oh, yeah. I have them in like bits and pieces because I think my
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, I have like 30 minutes here, 20 minutes there. But yeah, with that, I guess, Katie, I'll let you close it out.
Perfect. I got a couple questions, same ones. What's the planner brand? The one that I use is the Panda Planner. I got it from Amazon. Jess, do you have a specific one that you use?
So I don't actually. I'm just like a pen and paper girl. I literally just like have like my own little notebook that I had custom made for myself, and I use that. I'm also someone like I'm big on efficiency.
Totally couldn't hear you. But
Mom's internet sucks.
that's okay. But anyways, we hope that you enjoyed tonight's call. I am so excited that we are doing these little team up calls. Oh, let me read these. Courtney said, one thing that I have been reminded of lately is not to be afraid to overshare. There are a lot of people at work in my life that consider close friends that I don't even realize I'm a coach. This actually even happened a few hours before this call. So my goal is to ensure people know that I am what I stand for and how they can get involved. That's so true. Never be afraid to shout from the rooftops that you are a coach. Be proud that you are a coach because it is something to be proud of. And obviously you're doing amazing things by helping people and by showing up for yourself and inspiring others. So I think it's so important to always let people know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Katie said, what PD books do you suggest for self-confidence and to push yourself to try new things? I'm big into like the business development books because I feel like it really pushes you in both areas. So they're kind of both PD and like push yourself to try new things. I think a really great one is There's No Plan B for Your A Game. That's the one I'm reading right now and I absolutely love it. What was the other one that I was thinking of? Do you have your a favorite one, Jess, that you'd recommend?
And so I'm kind of like Katie too, where like for professional development, I love like that more like masculine hustle vibe. So Grant Cardone, obviously 10X Rule, we covered that. But if you're looking for something that's more like self-confidence and like really feminine driven, Rachel Hollis, Girl Wash Your Face, if you have not read it yet, is just like an amazing book. Because I think she goes through like a lot of like judgment in the book. And we experience a lot of that with what we do. So I really like that book if you have not read that.
Ooh. There's also Girl Code. That was absolutely one of my favorite ones for self-confidence.
Yeah.
I don't know who wrote it, but it's called Girl Code. But anyways, if nobody else has any questions, we will hop off, let you guys get to the rest of your night. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. We absolutely love doing this call with you, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Yay! Have a good night, guys.
Bye.